eventually. Sandali lang. Paano ko ba kayo paliliitin? So, yun. So, writing your journal articles. So, we're done with reading. Now we'll look at your publication journey. No? These scores, I hope, will guide you through transforming your research into a publishable journal article through structured, manageable daily tasks in a few weeks. So let's look at some words first, no? Understanding academic journals. What is a journal? A scholarly journal publishes original research in periodic issues throughout the year. Each issue contains research articles that have undergone rigorous peer review, a quality control process where expert scholars evaluate submissions. The journal staff includes editors who direct intellectual processes, managing editors handling logistics, editorial board members who peer review articles, and advisory board members who lend their prestige. Now, there are a few key journal metrics to consider. First, turnaround time. This is the period between submission and editorial decision. So for example, I submit to you my journal article today, and then I hear from you only after 6 months or even after 1 year. That's called turnaround time. If I submit my journal article to you, you cannot resubmit it to another editor. You have to wait until I make the decision. That's the research ethics behind it. If you don't follow that, they can actually file an ethics complaint against you in your university. Ganun kalala yan. Second, backlog. This is the time between acceptance and publication. So if I submit today and then I get published in 2 years' time, that's called backlog, no? And then peer review. This is the evaluation by 1 to 4 field experts who identify issues about your paper and who recommend improvement. The nice thing right now about many journals is they have a blind review process wherein they delete all your names, and they actually even implement a double blind peer reviewed, which means you don't know who's reading your papers, neither do they know who you are. But the peer review process is the minimum requirement right now in scholarly journal publications. So what makes a journal article? First, the structure. Sometimes it can be from 5 to 40 pages. And yes, you've read that correctly, 5. In mathematical journals, even 2 pages will do. But for us, the expected output for this class should be about 15 to 20 pages double spaced, no? And that's about 5 to 50 citations or read articles. The core elements for a journal is a very rich literature review that actually traces your output, a very clear thesis or argument, a claim why your paper is important, the evidence to support your claim, and the clear organization or structure of your paper. This is vetted by peer reviewers and grounded in disciplinary concerns and methods. That's why you cannot simply think topics from thin air. You have to read the paper thoroughly, or you need to read about the topic thoroughly so that you can understand what are the topics of interest, what are the things that you can pay attention to, and the like, no? This will help you understand what is going on? Ah, nagpadala na ng official class list si Doxes. Ah, so publication theory so submission, no, so what's your publication journey? It begins with the submission. The author submits to one peer reviewed journal. That's only the thing we're asking for you to get a grade: submission in this course. Of course, publication is what will make you graduate from the course, but in this, from the degree. But in this course, submission is enough. Second, editorial review. The editor evaluates basic criteria, identifies major flaws, and may immediately reject the paper at that point. If not, he sends it to peer reviews. There are 2 or 3 peer reviewers. These are selected reviewers that will evaluate the originality, the contribution, the correctness, the clarity, and even the methodology that you implement. The third is the decision. Here, editor accepts the paper or requests revisions, minor or major, or simply rejects the paper based on the reviewer's recommendation. Then revision. Author revises according to feedback and resubmits with detailed response letter indicating what changes have been made and where. And then publication. This is accepted articles undergo copy editing, proofreading, and then eventually publication. This is what we are going to go through in this course and look at also in this course. But before we begin, let's begin first with understanding your feelings about writing. When we start, writing is a creative process that actually depends a lot on human connection. But academic writing is not creative writing, no? The academia's silence about writing is repressive, no? Repressive. Many academics experience writing dysfunction, whether you like it or not. Surveys reveal that almost a fifth of full-time faculty haven't read or written scholarship in the past 2 years. That's like 20 faculty in a faculty of 100 at hindi pala, 5, a fifth. Um, so that's something you have to pay attention to, di ba? So the first step to success is acknowledging first your feelings about writing. When we say we're gonna write or that this course is about writing, what were the emotions that came out? Di ba? What emotions arise when you contemplate writing? Do you feel afraid? Do you feel nervous? Do you feel agitated? Do you feel uncomfortable? What do you feel when you're talking about writing? Common responses includes terror, boredom, discouragement, inadequacy, and procrastination. These feelings, I have to assure you, are okay. Writing is difficult. Writing is scary. And I affirm that. So there are many common negative feelings about writing, no? Like the fear of permanence and controversy. What if what you wrote about right now is wrong? Feeling of inadequate or like an imposter, no? You feel like I only want to finish a master's and now I'm being asked to publish. Dati sa Ateneo or sa UP, publish or perish, 'di ba? Kung hindi ka makasulat ng isang journal article, hindi ka magiging assistant prof sa UP yon, no? Hindi ka pa tenure. They will kick you out if you can't even write. But I tell you, if you can write, the hell, you will be tenured even in the most prestigious of universities. Uh, but what is the feeling that is emerging right now? Sabihin mo, sa mataas na paaralan lang ako nagtuturo, takot ka pa, di ba? So, depression, you'd feel sad, discouraged, this is not the life I've chosen. Guilt about not writing enough, di ba? Ano ba talaga yung nangyayari? Or you can look at practical obstacles. You think that there's insufficient research that has been done, or you're unclear about many academic conventions. APA ba to? Footnoting ba to? Endnoting ba to? Paano ba i-paraphrase to? Limited time, 5 weeks. Dahil, how am I going to finish a paper in 5 weeks? Or limited energy. I'm a mom. I have to do this. I have to take care of my parents. I have to cook. I have to clean. I have to teach. And then I have to write, or competing responsibilities, right? These are practical obstacles. Like, you'd wonder, paano ka ginagawa ni Dr. Calano yung ginagawa niya na occupying too many administrative positions in different institutions, and at the same time doing a world that's totally different, di ba? Competing responsibilities. Um, or self-doubt. You'd say, I'm not sure I should really be teaching, questioning career choices. Uh, di ba? Bakit ba gusto ko mag-masters? Bakit masters? Di ba? Or comparing to others' progress. Buti pa yung classmate ko nakatapos na ng papel. Ako wala pa. Ganyan. Or slow writing pace. Bakit ang tagal-tagal ko na tinititigan itong blank cursor nito? It's still blank. Or weak English language skills. But I cannot even speak correct English. How can I basically push this forward? These are all common negative feelings. And they're not just common. Every person encounters these. And it is okay. And it is okay. We also need to understand that aside from negative feelings and writings about writing, there are also positive writing experiences. Like, you see external support, no? Deadlines that force action. Deadline na, kailangan na tapusin, no? Right now, we just submitted actually our second edition for the ethics textbook module with Rex, no? Our second edition for the first textbook has been out already. But the second edition for the teaching module is on its way. So, kasi deadline na, kaya kailangan tapusin. Or we see encouragement from advisors or even friends or even accountability partners. These are people that we say, oh, tatapusin natin to together, ah. We have to produce something. Ganon. Or external support, no? It feels good to know there are people that support you. Or personal motivation, like you work on a topic that's meaningful to you, no? Most of my research is on the Black Nazarene, even if you check Google Scholar. And that's in fact my most cited work. And it's based on the fact that I'm interested with the performance of the devotion to the Black Nazarene. Or establishing writing rhythms. Like every day, I will spend 30 minutes to write about my paper. And also celebrating progress. Like today, I wrote about 2 paragraphs. That's more than enough. Ganon. Uh, or I made how many posts, no? Recently I'm populating our AQ underscore Sawg SAWG account in Instagram, and I've been filling it with traditional Chinese medicine concepts, treatment modalities, and things like that. And my goal is to reach 5 posts in a day, man lang, di ba? And I celebrate every time I reach 5 posts, even if nobody watches them. Or practical strategies, part-time jobs forcing efficiency, regular writing schedules, and even inspirational reading. Sometimes you also need to read about people who write and what they say about writing, because that too is inspirational. So let's look at five keys to academic writing success. This session, synchronous session, will focus more on really just getting the mood or the groove to write. No? Mood or groove to write. And it begins specifically with successful academic writers write. You need to understand that all your fears about writing is caused by one thing, not writing. That's why successful academic writers write. The most important key is simply to write regularly. Practice makes perfect, we were told. Writing becomes easier and more pleasurable the more you do it. So don't wait for inspiration or don't wait for large blocks of time. Make writing simply a daily habit, like exercising, like praying. Nobody exercises or nobody prays, maybe, or like eating. That's more daily, I think. Second, successful academic writers read. So, the best way to learn to write journals is to read them. Your unconscious brain internalizes patterns, improves both form and content. So, read at least 3 to 5 articles a week. And if we're done in 5 weeks' time, that's about 25 journal articles. More than enough, di ba? Uh, Third, successful academic writers make writing social. This is why we have this class. Because we thrive in community. That's why this will become a writing group. This will become where you can find writing partners. That's why we encourage you to attend conferences, share your work at all stages, not just when it's finished, but also when it's still starting. Social writing reduces isolation and improves quality. Next, successful academic writers persist despite rejection. Rejection is inevitable. So, even dali lang, may so so even Nobel Prize winners faced early rejections, in fact. The difference between published and unpublished authors is persistence. Makulit lang kami, not worthiness. So keep submitting. Kahit na they reject you, keep submitting, keep submitting. Yun, mahalaga yun. Dapat submit ka lang ng submit ng papel. Okay? Lastly, successful academic writers pursue their passions. Write about questions that fascinate you. Genuine interest motivates faster writing and helps you endure rejection. Follow your deepest interests rather than passing fads. No? Deepest interests. Deepest interests. Let's look at that one by one. Successful writers write. Many academics believe they need long, uninterrupted stretches to write effectively. This is false. Study after study shows that writers who write a little bit most days produce more manuscripts than those who alternate extended sessions with weeks of not writing. Writing just 30 minutes a day can make you one of the most unusual writers who publish several journal articles a year. Yes, 30 minutes a day. Writers who work in regular, moderate sessions complete more pages, enjoy more editorial acceptance, and experience less depression than those who write in emotional waves or bings. So, the power of daily writing. No, daily writers produce twice as many manuscripts as being writers. Just 15 minutes daily keeps your article in the forefront of your thoughts. And 90 optimal sessions. Top performers rarely practice more than 90 minutes of writing at a time. Writing daily works. Writing rarely doesn't. The less you write, the harder it becomes. Absent the small successes of daily writings, your inner critic becomes harsher and louder. Bakit? Kasi hindi ka nagsusulat konti-konti. Kaya habang tumatagal, pagiging violente ng violente yung comment mo sa sarili mo. Hindi mo na pakikinggan kung ano yung nangyayari. And that's something you have to pay attention to. Uh, experiments with daily writing. Sometimes you see common objections that says, I need whole days to write, or I lose track without extended time, or I need to build momentum, or if I stop, I'll never restart. These concerns are understandable, but please take note they are unfounded. Understandable, but unfounded. You manage daily activities without forgetting how writing is no different. You manage daily activities without forgetting how writing is no different. Workshop participants who tried 15 minutes daily writing consistently report success. One reorganizes entire life into 15-minute chunks. Another solved a revision problem while waiting at the DMV. A third completed a 2,000 word essay writing only 15 minutes daily. Pwede, no? Pwedeng gawin. Yun yung sinasabi ko. Is 15 minutes a minimum or a maximum? No? The answer to that is 15 minutes is a minimum. If you can write longer without burning out, do so. The principle is that daily writing teaches smooth, anxiety-free writing without depending on rare big blocks of time. What counts as writings? It depends. If you only take notes or discuss your articles, that's procrastination. But if these activities lead to actual writing within a few days, they're part of your normal writing process. So what about productive being writers? Some spree writers are productive, sure, but they share three qualities. What? They enjoy intensive periods, they're light revisers, and they're in-head writers who compose mentally between sessions. They're actually writing daily, but just in their heads. So what are the obstacles to daily writing? Before making a writing schedule, anticipate interruptions and excuses. Common obstacles include motivational barriers, can't get started, or emotional challenges, fear of controversy, health issues, depression or insomnia, human obstacles, advisor problems, distractions, teaching prep or family, confidence issues, idea quality doubts, resource limitations, access to materials, and obstinance, resistance to change. Identify your specific obstacles helps you develop solutions. And there are many ways to do this one to address common writing obstacles. And we will talk about them as we move forward. Setting realistic writing goals. Find your schedule. Study your current daily schedule and identify available writing times. Two, be realistic. When you're alert and energetic, not ambitious fantasies, please. Create balance. Aim for moderate, sustainable goals that fit your life. Track progress. Document your actual writing time to make realistic future plans. Then design your 12 weeks. Actually, uh, in the humanities, that will be an average of 8 hours per week, 92 hours if 12 weeks. 8 times 5 is 40 hours. But normally, I extend it to 6 weeks or 8 weeks also. Uh, Average of 6 hours, if it's science, that's 72 hours. Your actual time will depend on your schedule, your field of interest, and your article's current state. Kung wala pa, you have to read more and start more. Di ba? Ganun lang siya. Two, key writers read. No? The best way to learn to write journal articles is to read journal articles. No read, no write. Your unconscious brain sees patterns your conscious brains doesn't. Internalizing language and even conventions. Reading, therefore, improves both form and content. So to be a good writer, you have to read a lot. One student's writing transformed dramatically after reading 100 journal articles in 8 weeks. Her advisor noticed immediate improvement. Your writing reads so much more professionally. What happened? And the answer? Immersion in the form through extensive reading. And that's the reason why I emphasized reading a lot. Because if you read a lot, you are able to absorb how best to say something or what to do something and things like that. No, in the social sciences, there are 5 articles per week on the average. In the humanities, some say we only read 3 articles on week, and that's about 30 minutes. Read 30 minutes to skim one article. So if you're not spending 1 to 3 hours daily skimming journal articles, you may not be reading enough recent work to write articles well. Start small. Even 1 page nightly adds up. So one journalist increased from 7 books yearly to 33 by starting with just 1 page before bed. No, just 1 page at a time, 1 page at a time. And that's something you have to pay attention to. O, 3 na tayo. Make writing social. Break the isolation. The myth of the lonely writer is false. All writing depends on community, other texts, other writers, other editors, other audiences. Without community, writing is inconceivable. Productive writers generate ideas through conversations with others. Their thoughts doesn't coalesce until they talk about them. Writing is an ongoing social process. So how do we make writing social? Join writing groups. Meet regularly with others committed to writing. Share drafts. Discuss challenges. Hold each other accountable. Next, find writing partners. Pair with someone to exchange work. Somebody must read your work, comment on your work, not just me. Meet for writing sessions, provide mutual support, or present at conferences. Share your work publicly. Sometimes you want to write only to be kept. No, go out, di ba? get feedback, learn field trends, and networks with editors and scholars. You'd realize my YouTube page is monetized. That's why you have so many ads coming out. But also my personal Facebook is monetized. But it's quite interesting. Despite my biblical reflections, my philosophical reflections, the one that reaches 500K or to almost 1 million views are actually my political commentaries. Mapipikon ka kasi it's the political commentaries that people are buying when I post, not when I post scriptures or philosophy or even Chinese medicine for that matter. Um, but be out, be present, engage online, follow scholars on social media, join discussions, track hashtags, and consider scholarly blogging. No? Yun yung ginagawa ko. I, I, I write, I write on my Facebook page essays. In fact, short essays every day. Diba? Ganun yun. That's what we call scholarly blogging. How do you overcome social writing barriers, networking discomfort? Many feel awkward contacting admired scholars. No? Kilala nyo ba yung scholars in your field? Yet most are interested in meeting you and grateful even you took the first step. Social media makes low-key contact easier. Look for your idols. Chat them. Be their friends. Get to know them. That's how to move forward. Second, fear of sharing. Academia, uh, academia can make colleagues seem like adversaries, but sharing work helps you identify as less of an imposter and quickly reveals omissions and logical breaks. No? If you let other people read your work, you're able to clarify how they're gonna move forward, what else they are going to consider and things like that, di ba? And waiting for perfection, wag na. Don't wait until your manuscript is done. Share early drafts, outlines, abstracts. The point is improvement, not validation. You don't want them to validate. You want them to give comments so you can improve on it. Theft concerns. Ideas do get stolen, yes, but hiding your work won't solve this. Getting writing out to many people protects it. Saved emails provide evidence of origination and things like that. Uh, Key number four, persist despite rejection. The writing life is filled with rejections. In short, you will be rejected. Being scorned by publishers is a shared experience of great and terrible writers alike. Canonical authors like Melville, Eliot, or Woolf had work rejected in the strongest terms. Jack London, for example, received 266 rejection slips in 1899 alone. Peer review is subjective. Work rejected by one journal is often embraced by another. One author's article brutally rejected for lack of substance and originality was enthusiastically accepted and changed by another journal, then won an award for the best article of the year. It's subjective. So the power of persistence, no? The difference between much published authors and unpublished authors is most often persistence, not worthiness. One graduate student, Carrie Petrucci, submitted her article on criminals apologizing to victims to three journals. And after two rejections, she revised based on feedback each time. And the third journal accepted it without changes, calling it a high quality product. Her article has been cited over 120 times and founded a new field. When starting out, harsh criticisms can stop you. But if you persist, things often aren't as bad as you fear. Published authors keep submitting their works. And key number 5, pursue your passions. Successful writers focus on questions that fascinate them, that interests them. Genuine interest is a topic in a topic is a real motivator, enabling faster writing and easier endurance of rejection. Students writing about topics they're passionate about, whether welfare reform effects, Korean experiences in Japan, pedigreed dogs, or food metaphors, always work steadily. Many use personal experiences of race, gender, sexuality, or even nationality to reinterpret canonical texts. The world changes quickly. You're more likely to have positive writing experiences if you follow your deepest interests rather than passing fads. Write to make a contribution to something that matters to you, like the Black Nazarene. When I first wrote about the Black Nazarene, nobody writes about the Black Nazarene. But now, I've seen 2 PhD dissertations on the Black Nazarene. I've seen many articles written on the Black Nazarene. And whether they cite me or not is not an issue because you can see when this was all written. And then you'd realize I did it first. And those are something you have to pay attention to. Okay? Next, your writing plan. So this is actually what this evening is about. I'd like you to organize your writing plan. Track your time. Spend 3 minutes daily working writing time. Mark everything you do this week to understand where hours go. Design your schedule. Identify available writing times. Choose realistic times when you're alert and set your deadlines based on your article state and available time. Share your plan. Tell someone about your schedule. Social pressure helps you meet your goal very carefully and post it visibly. Keep your plan where you can see it. Update as needed. Here, you have to be flexible. So, you need to have a writing time. That's what I'm saying. Now, when you already have a writing time, we go to the next level. And what is the next level? The next level is choosing the paper you are going to edit. Of course, by now you already have topics in mind and you've even shared them to me. But let's still look at this section. No? Uh, I'm on page 25 of 40. 40 lang to. The last two I will not present anymore. Uh, so most academics have already written something containing the seed of a publishable article. Can be a classroom essay, it can be a conference paper, thesis chapter, or talk. The trick you need to pay attention is identifying which text provides these fertilizable seed. Which text? So of all the things you spoke about, which one actually is most uh, feasible? Before choosing, understand first article types. Why? Because not all journals publish all types. And some carry more weight with hiring and promotion committees than others. Remember, there is a publish or perish world. So let's look at them one by one. Sandali lang nga, may nagtatanong sa akin. So, interviews, transcripts with scholars or public figures. This is good for field report, but require different skills than research articles. So, hindi yan, not suitable. Book reviews, analysis of recently published scholarly books. Take 6 to 10 reviews to equal one research article in weight. Not suitable. Trade articles, research distilled for non-academic audiences, important for impact but doesn't carry weight with research committees. Notes, these are brief articles documenting small findings, usually 500 to 1,000 words, less weight than research articles. Translations. Articles translating others' work, lots of work for limited weight, unless translating important theory, that's not suitable. In fact, I have my mentor at Ateneo translated Thomas Aquinas' Summa Theologica, and now that I am and he died. And now that I'm the official patnugot or editor, I need to write a separate introduction just so it will be credited under my name as the editor. Just so the entire book will be credited to my name as editor. Ganun ka-toxic yan. Excuse me. Um, Response articles, feedback to recently published articles, easier to write and publish but counts for less than research articles. What are the suitable article types? Experimental research, reports on studies manipulating variables under control conditions to determine causation in human behavior, uh, or quantitative research, reports on studies observing relationship among variables to identify correlations, uses surveys, databases, large samples. Qualitative research, report on data collected in natural setting using ethnographic methods, small survey, in-depth interviews, observations. Humanities research, present new analysis in human expression, literature, art, history, religion, philosophy, film, varied structures. Theoretical articles, reviews, or advances theory, traces theoretical development, proposes new theory or critiques existing ones. That's suitable. And natural science research, reports on data about the physical world, highly specific, that's also researchable. So when you choose your paper, there are some questions you need to pay attention. Uh, Praise. Has anyone suggested you submit a text for publication? Pleasure. Is there a text you enjoyed researching or still think about with gratification? Relevance. Does any text address current debates in your discipline? Research. Is any text particularly well researched with substantial sources or data? Findings. Does any text have particularly strong or unusual findings? Argument. Does any text take a strong stand trying to persuade readers? So, texts that offer challenges are very important sources of journal articles. And we can actually identify them. Thesis and dissertations. Great to revise, but require significant cutting. Some editors won't publish electronically available theses even. Dissertation chapters need both shortening and lengthening to stand alone. Reports and surveys. Reports tell readers what to do. Articles tell them how to think. Broad surveys rarely get published unless by veterans. Theoretical papers, like what we do in philosophy or theology, without case studies are poor, fare poorly. Most theories launch with concrete examples. That's why I moved to the Black Nazarene. Dated research, perhaps over 5 to 6 years old, need careful relevance review. Polemics asserting injustice exists isn't enough. You need solid academic evidence to be able to make such claims. Without evidence, you're writing an editorial and not a research article. Remember, this is an academic research, the highest paper. So, more challenging text types. There's just more, 10 more slides. Bear with me. Humanities challenges, narrow, close readings. You focus only on single text analysis. Need to speak to disciplinary debates. Or popular text, widely discussed text, face automatic rejection at some journals. Imagine if you are going to write about Plato or Aristotle, uh, and just give a commentary of their works. They don't get published. Or introductory pieces, mere description without argument, won't get published. Or science challenges, small samples. No, the sample size is not enough. No, no. No study. Most fields require experiments or studies, not speculation. Or weak evidence, null findings, or little evidence. These are also not simply publishable. So, what are the paper choices you need to prioritize? One that the professor approved. Two, one that a journal approved. And three, one that you approve. So, reread your selected paper. Once you have selected a paper for revision, get reacquainted with it. Open it again, read it. Don't worry if it's not as good as you remember or just as bad. All you need is a seed paper. So locate the latest version. Find the most recent version. If only print exists, set aside time to type it up. That will give you editing opportunities. Second, save a copy. Preserve the current state so you can compare with the final result. Third, print and read. Print and your paper and read once without touching it for overall sense of state and ideas. Fourth, annotate. Reread with pen in hand, noting needed changes in margins. Find citations, fix logic, add transitions, beef up evidence. And lastly, list tasks. Create a revision task list from your margin notes, additional research rewriting sections, completing literature, adding evidence. All of those are very important in your paper. Next, setting up your writing site. Create your space. We are creatures of habit. We get habituated. That's what I'm saying. We get habituated. And that's important also, no? So having a customary writing site forms the habit of regular writing. When you enter a space where you usually write, it cues you that it's writing time. If one spot is impossible, then have 2 to 3 regular sites. Some writers need variety to stay energized. The key is having habitual spots that prompt writing. Make your site comfortable. proper chair height, keyboard placement, good lighting. If lonely, you can try cafes. I live alone here in Antipolo. Um, I can write here. If distracted, use earphones. Think of cheap solutions like stacking books for a standing desk or what have you. Next, set up a citation software. I've already mentioned this in the no read, no write section, but you must use reference management softwares. And we have identified a few already. Mendeley, these are RMS, no exemptions. These programs save hundreds of hours and increase publication chances by ensuring proper citations. Sloppy documentation signals sloppy revisions to editors. Citations that took 500 seconds by hand now take 5 seconds with RMS. Yes, they're fiddly to set up, but over your career, they'll save immense time and headache. So get one. So speaking of RMS, you can go to Zotero. This is free, open source, user friendly. This is popular in the humanities, chosen as the best by advanced class research classes. Mendeley, of course, there's a freemium version which works best for PDFs. This is popular in the sciences and it's owned by Elsevier. And it's not open source. Huh? EndNote is the most sophisticated and powerful. There's a freemium version and many universities provide free premium access, but you have to be in a university. RefWorks is best for huge citation databases with more storage than alternatives, and it has web-based access. So regional variations is huge actually. Check the HAU library for recommendations. At least install the Google Scholar button for quick citations. At least that. Please do that. Then backup systems, multiple backups. Use several systems, commercial cloud backup, university backup, portable hard drive, emailing files to yourself. Don't just rely on saving. No? If co-authoring, agree on author order in advance. Know your field's conventions, document contributions, discuss expectations early. Lastly, protect your work. Regular backups and clear authorship agreements prevent disasters. Lost work and authorship disputes are surprisingly common. Next, reading journal articles. This is where you started. This is also one of my last slides. To be a good writer of journal articles, you must read journal articles. Find an article published on your field in the last 6 months, in the topic you want to study, in the last 6 months, and then study it. Ignore the content. Focus on how it works. How long is the article? What are its parts? How many citations? What's the structure? You read to understand. So, for today, we've looked at your foundation. And we've looked at it in terms of these 5 phases: regular reading, daily writing, social writing, clear goals, and proper setup. I hope that kept you reflecting about how you move forward. Uh, I will not go to week 2 because that is for week 2. Uh, but end it here. At the end, a good journal paper is a paper that has a very deep foundation on habit, and that's the habit of reading and writing. I'll pause here and accept questions if there are questions, but I'll stop the recording now. Thank you.